What's up, Plant Squad? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Pam. I have a ton of plants. That's what we talk about here. We grow on the inside, we grow on the outside. You could, make that mean something to you if you want. So I finally got through the filming of my houseplant tour. This has taken me months. I tried to do a summer one and I just didn't even get a chance to do it. It is incredibly difficult to film in my house. There has been construction going on next door and on the other side of my house and the street behind me. So basically every angle in my house constantly has noise during the week. It's just, and then you have to have your house kind of clean to have a plant tour. And guess what? My house wasn't clean through this, so we're cropping in real tight. I'm gonna rip through this thing quick because I don't want to take too much of your time, but I do want to show you just how many plants you can stuff in a small apartment if you try really hard. If you believe in yourself, you can do it. All right, so let's start this off in my bedroom. So I've kind of always been one of those people that just hangs out in their bedroom. So this tends to be where I spend a lot of my time and therefore where I put some of my favorite plants. Okay, so right here we have a Philodendron micans or meekins, I'm not sure how you say it. This guy came from Gabriella's Plants. So here is my Monstera siltepecana. And I got this from Steve's Leaves, I believe. Yep, I got this from Steve's Leaves in April. And when I got it, it didn't have, I think it only had 1 or 2 trails, and it's just gone bananas over here. So these are definitely growers. Oh look, I already got dirt. I just cleaned everything. Ugh. Pretend I never have dirt on any surface because we're on the internet where everything is perfect, right? Wrong, there's dirt all over my house. Okay. So I love this plant. I love the leaves. I think they're so gorgeous. So as soon as I saw this come into stock on Steve's, I snapped one up immediately. And if you stalk their website, they do restock them every now and then. Speaking of stalking, one of these plants was another one I was hunting on websites for a while. And this is my Monstera adansonii. I believe this is the round-leafed version. And I got this from NSE Tropicals. So this came from Enid's shop in Florida, and it has grown like crazy. It's just gone all the way up to here, and I've kind of hooked it in here so that it will stop trying to poke me in my sleep. I'm going to make this guy a moss pole in the next week or so, so I think that that will help it out a little bit. And right over here we have the ultimate basic bitch of plants, but we all love her, don't we? It is the pothos. This is the golden pothos, devil's ivy, etc., etc. So right here we have one of the Monsteras that you guys saw me repot in my bullying video, which, we're going to talk about that in another video because I can't even believe how many people watch that video and continue to watch it. So I'm going to put it up here if you haven't seen it yet. We'll talk about it. So here is the newest leaf on this baby. It just unfurled a few days after I repotted her. I'm gonna make that into a moss pole this week as well, and we're gonna wrap this baby up and she's gonna look beautiful. So right up here we have my Paulownia repens. This is the trailing watermelon begonia. That's what they call it as a common name, but it is a Paulownia repens. And I think it's really beautiful. You can see how the new leaves come in. It's really cool. I love this plant. I don't see these in a lot of plant tours, and I think that they're pretty cool. I didn't mean to zoom in just now. I've just been hanging out here in this bootleg plant holder that I desperately made out of cotton yarn one day because I wanted to hang plants, but I didn't have macrame cord. Another one of my favorites is this beautiful neon philodendron. I wrapped it up here in this macrame hanger that I made, and it's actually gotten a lot happier since I did that. It started putting out leaves like crazy, so I think a lot of them weren't getting enough sunlight. Over here is my Scindapsus silvery Ann, and I got this from Gabriella's Plants, and it just has these really cool silvery leaves. It's very close to the Scindapsus pictus, but with more of a silver sheen. Guy is just over here chilling, keeping an eye on my plants. Thanks, girl. If we swing on over here to my table, I have just a little cluster of plants right here. And right here I have this authentic, pretty old Christmas cactus that my friend Kelly gave to me. It was a piece of her grandmother, I believe, maybe her great-grandmother? It was either her grandmother or great-grandmother's plant, and it is so cool. I almost cried when she gave me this. Over here I have my Calathea Freddy, and it's been over here for a while, and it just seems really happy in this super soft east light. So this right here is one of my marble queens, and I actually got a huge one of these plants from Home Depot that was so clustered in the pot that I had to break it up, and I ended up with like 4 different plants. So that's a good tip for you. If you end up with these Home Depot plants that come really like clustered together, you can break them up and they will really flourish because they have some room to breathe. Look at this leaf. So cool. I have a Pothos and Joy just chilling out over here. It doesn't get a ton of light over here, but it still seems to be growing pretty well. So I leave it here for a while and then I'll move it over near the window to give it some light for a few weeks and then move it back over here. Hey, hey, up high. Ooh, and here's my really rad elephant thrift store picture find. I love it. Apologize for the kind of shitty lighting over here. So right here is my rattlesnake calathea, and it's just been hanging out in this window for a little while, and I think it's doing okay over here. It's putting out another leaf. So right here, being assaulted by my cissus, is a Chinese evergreen. My fella's mom, Karen, actually picked this up for me after my brother passed away. So it's just a really beautiful plant, and it's nice, and it reminds me that, you know, people got me. Back here's one of my favorite plants, and I'm not doing it any justice right now because it needs to be trellised so bad. It just grew so fast. So this is my Cissus adenopona, and it's got a little bit of a scalded leaf here, but otherwise it's doing pretty good. It's decided to grab onto my blind thing here, so I'll probably never get that off. So these plants are all sitting basically in the center of my 3 windows, and this is north, and this is east over here, so it kind of gets northeast light, and I think that's why all the plants are doing pretty well. So normally I have this in brighter light, but it's just sitting right here for right now because I'm going to hang it up in a little macrame hanger, and I need to do that in the next day or 2. It just keeps getting knocked off of where I had it before, so that's why that's sitting here. But this is a ruby cascade peperomia. The abaxial sides of the leaf are red, and this can handle a good amount of sunlight, and it's grown a ton since I got it. And then here I just have a trailing green philodendron, a Philodendron repens. And this guy I expected would not be too happy here because it's facing away from the window, but it's like doubled in size since I put it here, so I don't know, man. Like, I think I know some shit about plants, and then they go and do stuff like that. I don't know. So this guy's been incredibly happy in this spot, as you can see. This is a Peperomia scandens, and I have 2 of these. I have a variegated one, which is up here, and then I have this all green one, which is just going crazy over here. I just love how this looks with everything trailed over the sides. Yeah, this is my bedroom and all of the plants in it. I'm not a minimalist. How cool is this little glass leaf tray that I definitely don't use to roll joints on? Okay, onward to one of the least attractive rooms in the house. Here is my kitchen. I have this twisty little candle holder thing here that I'm using to kind of hold small clay pots with propagations in them. Oh, this little leaf got ripped. Sorry, Charlie. This is a little propagation of a creeping Charlie plant. And then up here, I just have a few different coleus cuttings. Right here, I have a semi-sad jasmine plant. I haven't quite figured out what this thing wants from me yet. My other jasmine plants are pretty happy, and this one is, well, okay, girl. Okay, that's new growth, right? Okay. Here's my Plectranthus Othello, also known as coleus. Look at these leaves. How stunning is this plant? I can't even take it. The goth in me died when I saw this, died again, came back to life, and died again. Look at it. Breathe it in. My kid is listening to some irritating ass videos. Hold on a second. Okay, so right here I just have another piece of the Monstera that I repotted, and this is going to a friend, so it's just sitting here gobbling up some light in the meantime. And then here's one of my rescue orchids that I managed to scald under a grow light. So yeah. Whoops. So this is hanging out here in the gentle rainy day light, having a break from me burning it alive. I'm sorry. Oh, here is one of my favorite plants. Again, the goth in me is delighted. This is my purple passion vine. Look at this baby. I mean, if you want to talk about leaf petting, like, this thing's gone all the way across my windowsill. It's totally crazy and I love it. Up here, and don't mind my 100-year-old windows, like literally. So this is another jasmine plant. And this is the yellow blooming kind. I got this at Logi's. When it did bloom when I got it, it didn't end up smelling as good as I thought it would, so I ended up getting a different one, which does smell pretty heavily. Does smell a lot? How do you say that? It smells a lot. It's very smelly. Anyway, I have a smellier jasmine, which you'll see later. This is my asparagus fern, and I got this from Hertz. So right here is a night blooming cereus, and I got this from a friend. She sent me this cutting, and I love watching this thing just make these giant leaves from this one, what was almost dead little stump that she sent me. I'll put a picture on the screen of what this looks like when it blooms. It's so cool. And in my windowsill, I just have this little row of succulents. I'm not a big succulent person, but I've had all of these for like probably 5 or 6 years at this point, except for this. I just kind of, I don't know, these guys just sort of fill my succulent needs right now, and I've started trying to figure out how to propagate things, and that's starting to work, as you can see. Like, I made this. So these are the guys that I repotted with the tiny hands, so they're doing pretty well if anybody was concerned for them. Right here I have my string of dolphins. I love this guy. It's so awesome. Took me a little while to find one that wasn't like super expensive, and I ended up finding this on Etsy, and it's been growing pretty great right here, so I'm just gonna let it be. I have this euphorbia right here. This is a pencil cactus. I'm pretty new to this guy, but it seems like it's doing all right. And then lastly, up here I have my Hoya lacunosa, and I got this from Logi's. So it's pretty dark over here, but this is my gigantic peace lily. You should know that this is an awesome plant because it's wicked dark over here, and this thing just continues to thrive, put out leaves, put out flowers. I've had a harder time with smaller peace lilies than I have with this one, so if you have a chance to get one of these, I highly recommend it. I don't have enough sun for like a bird of paradise or anything like super big, so this was kind of a really nice compromise for me, and it just fills in this area so well. I don't mind all this business. I need to find another one of those metal plates because, you know, the people who lived here before they did that instead of having one of those. So now I get to look at that. Anyway, this is part of the snake plant that my very good friend, lifelong friend, gave me before she moved away to Texas about, gosh, 10 years ago at this point. So this guy's probably at least 20 years old or so. This is my ZZ plant. I got this guy at Home Depot, and when I got it, these two guys weren't here, and it was just this little dude. So it's grown quite a bit, and it grows literally anywhere. Doesn't matter whether it's in the dark or in the light. It's just always happy. I love these plants. This is my Calathea setosa, and I love this plant. A few crispy bits, but for the most part, this plant has been really low maintenance. It's done really well. So if you like Calatheas and you're a little scared of them, I definitely recommend this one. It's pretty cool, and it's pretty far away from my east window, and it's pretty happy. Same with this Chinese evergreen I have here. This is one of the first plants that I bought myself when I decided I needed more plants in my apartment. Would you two stop it? They fight for their food. It's great. It's awesome. It's been a wonderful 10 years with the two of them. As you can see, this was a plant that my cats formerly used to get my attention to eat, so we took that away, and now they can't get on any of my plant surfaces because there's so many plants, there's no room for them. So that's a great tactic to keep your cats away from your plants. So here is the main plant of my marble queen pothos, and as you can see, this thing is enormous. It's super bushy, and now imagine that I made 4 plants out of this already. So it is definitely a beast. And it's also really liking this spot, and I'm really liking the trailing, and I'm going to be really sad when I have to turn the heater on and all of this has to go somewhere else. Swinging over here, one of my favorite and most underrated houseplants. This is a giant coleus. This plant has basically been with me in one form or another for about 10 years. Once these leaves start to look a little shoddy, what I'll do is I will just cut them off, and then you can see that all this new growth down here is just waiting to be the next version of this plant. And then this is that same coleus, but this is getting direct sun right against the window, so it's fully red. So this Monstera deliciosa came from a friend of mine. A friend of hers had broken apart a massive one that I have no idea how old it was, but it must have been pretty old. And she was distributing pieces of it to friends, and I ended up with a big cutting of it. So all throughout the Monstera deliciosa craze, you know, a few years ago on Instagram, I was sitting on this very hot plant and had no idea. Over the years, I've sort of trained it to grow upward because it was very much a droopy vining plant when I got it. So this thing is going to eventually need a repot and a moss pole, and it is going to be a huge undertaking, so I've been putting it off. Then up there in this little thing I got from the thrift store is just another one of those variegated trailing peperomias. Eventually, I'd love to have like a green wall right here. I think that it actually would get enough light to do pretty well, even in this corner right here. Over here, this is my African mask, and I've also broken this into 2 pieces, and you can see this new leaf just came out. This guy's really happy over here too. He just sort of hangs in this basket and catches the light from the window. And I didn't think it would be enough light when I moved it over here, but so far so good. It looks really happy. I have a pixie lime peperomia back here. This is one of my favorite peperomias. I think it is so cute. It looks so cute on a shelf. It looks really cute when it's trailing. It looks really cute when it's bushy. I just love it so much. I have an angel winged begonia here, and this one's grown quite a bit since I got it. This is a Philodendron Hope. We had a lot of drama with this one when I first rescued it from the plant murderers down the street. Someday I'll take you guys to the nursery down the street from me. They have these incredibly old, beautiful plants in there, and they just murder everything that they touch, and it's, you know, it'd be probably a really great Halloween horror story, so maybe I'll do that. Tradescantia back here, pretty standard. There's another piece of my snake plant back there. These are actually dracaenas now, so that's upsetting. Over here is a lucky bamboo that some friends gave me for photographing their wedding, and it really likes the grow light up here. Of my Philodendron Brazil over here. This is my Hoya kentiana, or shepherdii. I'm not shepherdii. I'm not too sure because Hoyas are confusing, but I'm pretty sure it's a shepherdii, and then it says kentiana on here, and that might be wrong. So, Skindapsus pictus. I think I picked this up at Home Depot. And I've got this Sansevieria cylindrica, or Dracaena cylindrica. Ugh, I hate this. And then here are some of my begonias. So this came from Steve's Leaves, and this is a Begonia Starry Nights, and I super love this begonia, and I know I'm not supposed to touch the leaves, but I'm doing it anyway. So this is my Begonia Bolero, and I got this from Josh's Frogs, and again, I think this one showed up with maybe 2 leaves on it, and it's doing pretty well. And this is my Begonia Jolly Silver. I also got this from Josh's Frogs. We know the Anthurium that I just got in the giveaway. If you didn't see that video, I will stick it up here. This is an Alocasia Laudabachkiana, something like that. It's a purple sword is what the common name is. This one is still, you know, it's eluding me a little bit, but we're doing okay. Sort of just keeps putting out leaves and then killing off the oldest one, and I don't really know if that's okay or not, but so far it's not dead, so there's that. I think it may need a little more humidity than it's getting out here, so I might put this back in the bathroom. I have this mixed bag of coleus. This one came from Steve's Leaves too. This is an El Brito coleus. I love this guy. I have another piece of the Othello in here too, and then this is the aforementioned much smellier jasmine, which is starting to bloom. This is my giant plant shelf, and we're gonna rip through this because otherwise we're gonna be here a long time. So you can see up here I have a Tradescantia, I have another string of hearts, I have pieces of the aloe plant that my friend gave me. Those aren't doing super great. I think they need to be in a smaller container. I think they're drowning a little bit in there. I have a lace flower plant right here, which is just trailing down, and it's had tons of blooms on it this spring. It's such a cool plant. I have this giant spider plant that my mom gave me. Over here I have a Peperomia floribunda, and right here I have some Marimo moss balls. These are fun when you change the water and squeeze the water out of them and then put them back in. They'll float up and down. That's Larry, Moe, and Curly. And those live for like 100 years or something, or longer. Like you can have these for your whole entire life and pass them on to your grandchildren. How cool is that? Lace flower propagation here. I have a little baby Peperomia silver ripple back here that I took off the plant you'll see in a second. And then I have a few different varieties of Christmas cactus. I ordered like a little 6-pack off of Etsy one time just to have some different kinds. I have a goldfish plant back there. I have another air plant. This is a really cool Peperomia, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. As you can see, it doesn't have a tag in it, and that's why we have tags. But I'll put it on the screen. My friend Kristen also got this for me from the plant haul. She got me this and a staghorn fern that's in the bathroom. I'm not sure which order I put it in the video, so you'll either see it or you already saw it. Pretty sad watermelon Peperomia over here. I think it might have like a calcium deficiency or so. I don't know what this thing's problem is. It is just like It's been kind of miserable since I got it in various forms. It's been different kinds of miserable, so I just kind of keep trying to make it happy. It seems to be happiest in this light over here, so I at least try to keep it there. And I don't know, maybe you guys can drop your tips in the comments. I've watched a bunch of videos, and I don't know, it just seems like whatever I do, it just looks a little sad. This is Begonias Harmony's Stormy Sunset, I believe it's called. And it is so gorgeous. Like, look at that. Focus. Look at that leaf. It's the prettiest. I love, love, love that begonia, and it's huge. I got this from Josh's Frogs, and it probably only had 2 or 3 leaves on it by the time I got it in the mail, but it definitely bounced back over the summer. So that's 2 shelves down, 2 more to go. This is the mother plant of the silver ripple peperomia. And then right next to it, I have a begonia rumba. I have a lipstick plant. I think it's a curly lipstick plant. I got this as a little slip from my mom. So she gave me a cutting and it rooted really awesome. And now it's one of my favorite little plants. I just think it's so cute, and I love how it spills over the pot. I have a baby Pilea peperomioides that I plucked off of a plant that I gave to Mike's mom. I have a peperomia polybatra here, which I'm just starting to get the hang of. It was doing this, I think I was overwatering it a little bit, but now that I've sort of backed off, I'm also not crazy about this container, so I'll have to move that sometime. I like my peperomias in clay. This is another favorite begonia. This is the begonia Red Bull, and I mean, this one has just like gone crazy since I got it. It's just got a few crispy leaves I gotta trim off, but oh, look at these leaves. Love it. Okay, moving on. We have another little baby silver ripple peperomia, another string of hearts back here. I have a Dieffenbachia reflector. I picked this up from Ill Exotics. They were a lot less expensive than the ones I was seeing elsewhere. I have a peperomia Hope, a Hoya DS70 or a Bilobata, and almost missed this peperomia Rosso right here. Rosso. Okay, next shelf down, we have a couple more aloes back there. This is the healthiest pup that I have left from the one my friend gave me that my cat ruined with his urine. That's another story. I have some more coleus cuttings. I have another begonia. This is a Hugh McLaughlin Hoya pubicalyx. Back here is an autumn ember begonia, and this thing is, I'm not going to pull it out because I always break leaves when I do, but oh, look at it, it's so pretty. It's another one that came from Josh's Frogs with 2 leaves. Doing great now. Here is my often very confusing Pilea peperomioides. I pretty much never know what this thing's problem is. It's happy, and then it's sad, and now it's having babies, and it's miserable, and I don't know. Back here we have a Philodendron Prince of Orange. I got this one from Josh's Frogs too. Didn't do too well for a long time. It didn't do very much, and then all of a sudden it is just killing it. It's got a beautiful all red leaf back here. So back here I have a burgundy ripple peperomia. Right here is a 35-year-old Christmas cactus that I got off Etsy from Green Thumb Mum. Back here I have both of my oxalis plants. I just woke them up from dormancy, so as you can see, they're doing pretty great. I need to put some more soil in this one over here because it got knocked over a couple times while it was in said dormancy, so I have to fill it back up. I think that's why it's not quite as happy as its neighbor. Here I have a heartleaf fern, and I took the glass off of it for a couple of days, and that happened. So the glass is never coming off this again. Okay, so we're in my crappy unfinished bathroom. So here is my crappy unfinished bathroom, and I'll be scraping all this peeling paint off and repainting over the fall or the winter whenever I get to it. So don't mind that, it's horrifying, but you know, it's not my fault, I rent. So this is the shelf, and this is a south window over here. So on this shelf I have this is getting long. I have one of 2 staghorn ferns. This was the first one that I got, and you can see it's got a shield in there already. It's really cool. I love this plant. It's actually really easy to take care of. Right here I have my Cebu Blue, and I got this from Josh's Frogs, and it sort of keeps sticking itself to the inside of this shelf, so I guess it's going to live there forever. It's still in a temporary pot. I need to find a cash pot to put this in. Over here I just have a little air plant. Okay, this was my first air plant, and it's still going. haven't killed it. And right here I have a variegated string of hearts, and I actually got this with my regular string of hearts. There was just this little string of it stuck into my plant, but it wasn't actually rooted, and I was wondering why it was dying off, and then I realized that it was from a different plant. So I had this little hitchhiker, and now it's growing up pretty nice. Acacia Fusion White right here, and I actually forgot to water this guy, and then I hit it with the wrong fertilizer, so it got a 1-2 punch of plant neglect. See, it's still coming. It's coming right back, so I'm pretty relieved about that because I thought I had killed it for good, but you can see all the new growth, and then I'll just end up taking these crispy bits off. Try to put the plants that I have a tendency to hurt in my visual path every day so that I don't actually keep killing them. This begonia tie-dye came from Steve's Leaves, and it's definitely had a hard time. I think this is one that needs a lot of humidity, so I'm gonna look into getting some kind of glass for it or something, because I don't think it's gonna survive the winter since it's not even happy in my bed. Really, dude, could you stop banging? Like, for fuck's sake. Got this when I got my begonia Starry Night, so that one's doing great. So I think it's just a different kind of begonia. It has more needs. It's my tiny dancer, and I love this plant. I think I got these from Josh's Frogs too. I just bought 2 plants and put them in the same pot, and they had a period of adjustment where they didn't do too good, but doing pretty good now. They're definitely growing towards the sun, but that doesn't bother me too much. And up there is my main Alocasia African mask. Right here is another Marble Queen pothos. Up here I just have a little spider plant baby that Jack would just love. He would just love to eat this, but I'm not gonna let him. Really quick, before that guy starts making a ton of noise again, here is my bird's nest fern. This is my Philodendron rubescens, and I got this from the plant haul, and it's doing awesome over here. It's like really happy. A little cutting of some Hoya right here. Pilea Moon Valley back here. I have the Pilea glauca right here. Glauca, whatever. A cutting from my main Monstera in the living room, and it's doing awesome over here. I'm gonna wrap this pole in moss eventually. A string of hearts, one of them, and that's just going crazy over here. So I'm gonna have to take some cuttings of this bad boy soon because it's getting a little crazy. I have another staghorn fern. This one came from my friend Kristen. I'm eventually gonna mount my staghorn ferns, so I just haven't gotten to it yet. I have a giant Maranta right here, and that is just living its best life. And then right over here, I just have your standard Anthurium. Oh, and I almost forgot this little air plant right here. So that guy just hangs out right there. And this is my beautiful Hoya. I love this baby. Sorry about the light. This is just a Hoya carnosa. I'm not sure if this is I think it's the tricolor, and it has just grown like crazy since I got it. And I trimmed a ton off of this plant when I first got it because it was so beat up from just being at Home Depot. It hasn't flowered for me yet, but you know, we're hanging in there, we're waiting. And last but not least, we have these guys who are chilling in my west window. This is sort of where I put cuttings and plants that are in transition to go somewhere else. This is where I keep my rabbits, so it's kind of like, you know, dusty from the hay in here, so I don't like to keep plants in here for too long. This was my quarantine room, but eventually I am going to move these out of here so they have, you know, less dust on them all the time. This is your standard holiday cactus. I got this at Walmart. So down here I just have more of those, you know, various kinds of Christmas cactus. This one here is a Thorbrita. I have a little bonsai down here. This one I think we saw in a shop with me. It looks like a little person chilling out, so that's why I had to get it. It had spider mites when I got it, but it's doing great now. I have this Philodendron Moonlight here that's doing way better than it's done in a long time, so I'm actually afraid to move it out of this window, so it might live here forever and just have to get dusted a lot. But look at that leaf. I love philodendrons. I think they're my favorite. I haven't decided yet, but I think that they are. And right here, and then here on the end, we just have the saddest of the Monstera transplants from the repotting. These guys will be fine. They just need a little bit of time to recover from the shock of being repotted. I gave most of them away already, and then once this guy perks up a little bit, it's going to get given away too. I'm going to put a pole in the middle and make it pretty, and then we'll pass it on to a new person. Okay. We got through everything. If you are still watching this, mwah, you're awesome. Let me know in the comments if you made it through the whole thing. If you have any questions about any of the plants you've seen, please let me know down below. I'm happy to answer any care tips, questions. I can tell you whatever I know. Like I've said, I've had plants for a while. I'm not any crazy expert or anything, but I have had them for quite a few years, so I've kind of gotten the hang of it. And I want to leave this plant tour with a small message. It's okay if you don't have this many plants. Take your time and enjoy the hunt. So if you're watching this and you feel badly at any point in time, like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that many plants, or I wish I had this plant or that plant, and I don't have the money to get all these plants. How does she find all the money to get all these plants? I'm going to tell you something. I bought a lot of these plants while I was grieving and sad and depressed, and I spent way too much money. Do not do what I did. Don't get caught up on social media with trendy plants and playing the keeping up with the Joneses. That's not why I got all these plants. I was just really sad and trying to stuff a hole in myself with leaves. I did slow down pretty quickly once I realized how fast the plants were piling up and that the care of these plants takes a long time. It takes me about 2 hours a week to water and care for all of my plants when I'm on top of my game, and that's not counting outside in the garden. So I want you to know that. I want you to know I'm not rich. I did spend too much on this. I do regret it. I definitely lost some plants along the way by buying plants that I didn't really know how to take care of. Don't do that. Your plant collection is fine. It does not matter if it looks like my plant collection, and eventually it will grow. Even if you don't have a lot of money, you would be amazed how many plants you can get your hands on for free or cheap. Even if you just put it out there into the zeitgeist that you're looking for a certain plant, you never know how many times someone will contact you and offer you a cutting. So I just wanted to say that. So thank you guys so much for watching this. I appreciate the hell out of all of you that leave comments and watch my videos. Thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers. I'm actually going to jump on live right now. It'll be before you see this, to say thank you and announce a giveaway. So if you happen to miss that live and you see this, I am going to be giving away some plants for my 3,000 subscribers milestone, and definitely have some more giveaways in the future if you're seeing this late. So you guys have an awesome week. Have a great night, a great day. Whenever you're watching this, I'll see you later.